So we just had a gander at that, 2 hours. What did you think?
I would say, again, like yesterday, a very substantive debate. I think if Canadians were tuning in, and I hope they were, to try and get a sense of where leaders stand on key issues, energy development, taking on Donald Trump, crime, they got really clear answers from those leaders tonight. But again tonight, and perhaps in a more pronounced way tonight, Mark Carney was the central target. Even when it was up to the leaders to ask questions, they all asked him a question.
Yep.
He even joked that he was going to ask himself a question. That's how focused everyone was on him. And even though the questions were sometimes challenging around tax havens or his position on different things, he really batted them back quite easily. I found that the answers were substantive, and he didn't seem to struggle with any of them. But I would also say that Mr. Poilievre had some good moments, particularly on the issue of crime. You may not agree with him that the notwithstanding clause should be used to deal with the issue of people who have killed multiple people, but he made a compelling argument about people, particularly in Canada's cities, who feel very concerned about a rise in crime, and that would have touched a large number of people as well.
Absolutely. The tough on crime message completely connects. Briefly, David, anything surprise you tonight?
No, I don't think there was any real surprises. I think what's interesting is it's too early to know what this election will be about for Canadians, but we saw in that segment Rosie mentioned what the leaders want it to be about. Mr. Blanchet and Mr. Singh want you to think Mark Carney's a rich guy who's not like you and doesn't play by the same rules. Pierre Poilievre wants you to think this is just another fourth Liberal term. He's not the transformative figure he pretends to be, and Mr. Carney used his opportunity to raise Mr. Poilievre's lack of security clearance to basically say, I'm a serious guy, and my main rival, he's not serious about the real stuff.
And there was that one good line from Mark Carney to Mr. Poilievre. You caught it.
Yeah.
You ran against Justin Trudeau and the carbon tax, and both are gone. To try and convince Canadians, this isn't the same Liberal Party. You don't run the risk of having the same thing if you put us into government.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure that one landed. He tried another version of it a little later on, just to make sure it landed. David, what did Poilievre need to do tonight?
Well, look, all the upside for Pierre Poilievre is in this debate, right? Like they need to, growing in Quebec helps them, but the gravy for the Conservative campaign is in Ontario, British Columbia, Atlantic Canada, and the polls have shifted against him quite dramatically there. He has a challenge in that there is a real gender gap and a generational gap in the polls, and that older voters and women voters in particular have turned away from the Conservatives over this realignment that we've seen in the run-up to the campaign, and it has stuck throughout the campaign. So you needed him to destabilize Mark Carney a little bit there, and also look prime ministerial as well. But early in the debate in particular, you saw him doing that needling, interrupting, and attacking sort of thing that we're used to seeing in committees and that we've seen in the House of Commons, though got very emotional at the end when talking about, the importance of the country and how he feels about things. So the question is, will that land? I mean, is a tonal shift this late, not just in the campaign, but in a political career that goes back to 2004, is it meaningful enough and sincere enough to land with voters who don't like the negativity? I don't know.
Okay.